Hi, everybody. Today is Tuesday, September 8th, and we are going to do an assignment called Character Setting Legacy. As you can see, the first slide of the assignment tells you to stop. You have to watch the video lesson before you do the assignment. So if you are watching the video now, you're good to go. Okay, so the second slide says to click here if you want to look at the document from the video lesson, which you will all probably need to refer back to. Okay, so before we get into this, let's pretend we clicked here and we open the document. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Expectations for classwork. I hope you have had a great weekend. I finally have a laptop that works, so I have been going through your assignments from the past week or so. It looks like I need to lay down my expectations for classwork, so you all know exactly what I expect from you. Keep in mind, next year you will be in high school and you'll be held to the highest standards. It is my job to prepare you for high school. I had very high expectations for all of my students because you are capable of excelling in my class. I will support you in any way I can, but you also have to advocate for yourself. When you need help, reach out to me. Use the Remind app, okay? So let's look at the expectations. And this is for every assignment you turn in. Okay, so you need to follow the directions and complete every section. Do not leave a section blank. Do not, okay? Finish the assignment. Second, you need to write the number of sentences that the directions tell you to write. If the directions tell you to write 4 sentences, then you cannot just write 2 or 3 because that is not reflecting enough upon the question. There's a reason behind the madness, okay? So just follow directions, please. You also need to answer every question. I don't know, and I am confused are not acceptable answers, especially on the document itself. If you're not sure how to answer a question, you need to ask questions of me. Like you need to reach out to me and send me a message, or you need to make an educated guess. Don't ever leave a question unanswered. Okay, the majority of times you will answer correctly if you try. And that's really important to me that you try to answer every question. Okay. Next, you need to write in complete sentences, which means you have a subject and a predicate. A sentence cannot start with because or but or and. Don't start sentences for fanboys. Okay, you can't start a sentence with the middle of a sentence. You get the picture, okay? You also cannot simply answer with one word. Okay, I will never ask you a yes or no question. I expect you to say if you agree or disagree and to explain your answer. So here's some examples. This is incorrect, okay, because she was sad. That's not a complete sentence. Not at all, okay? This isn't either yes. Okay, well, let's look at the correct answers. The narrator did not say goodbye because she was sad. Okay, this is a complete sentence here. Here's another example. I agree. The narrator is angry because she stomped her foot. So you're saying if you agree or disagree and explaining your answer there, okay? So this is one of my pet peeves, the next one. You need to spell check and grammar check every assignment before you turn it in. You need to capitalize the sentences and proper nouns. So Miss Chapman should be capitalized because I am important and I deserve to be capitalized, right? So you need to capitalize the sentences and proper nouns. and you need to use proper punctuation, like periods and stuff. There's no reason whatsoever you should not be using a period at the end of a sentence. You have to show where your thought stops. You capitalize a sentence to show where your thought begins. Okay, so if I have like 5 different thoughts with no capitalization and no periods, my mind's going to swell up. Okay, so don't do that to me. You need to capitalize sentences, proper nouns, and use periods. Okay, that's very important to receive a good grade for me. So you have to go up here, hit tools, spelling and grammar, check, and that will start the grammar check. Okay, so word to the wise. Words underlined in red means there's probably a mistake, a spelling mistake. A word underlined in blue means there's probably a grammar mistake. Please note, sometimes spell check is wrong, so you need to make sure you agree with their suggestion before you accept it. Remember, this is just a computer, it's not perfect. So make sure you agree with their suggestion. You also need to use your own eyeballs and check the document. Even if you have a couple of words that are underlined, you still need to go up here and hit Tools, Spelling and Grammar check for every assignment. You also need to check every assignment with your own eyes. Okay? And I'm telling you, like when we get into you writing essays and stuff like that, I will not accept it. I will give it back to you and tell you to spell check it and grammar check it, and it'll be late. Okay? So you need to be sure you do that to begin with. Get used to it. Get in a good habit, okay? You need to do that for science, social studies, math, anywhere that you have a writing assignment, you need to be sure you spell check, okay? Next one. Please turn your assignments in on time, okay? Or let me know why you're running behind. This is for attendance, but it also reflects upon your character and helps foster responsibilities. So, this is just the first step to becoming adults, okay? You need to be responsible and to be able to meet deadlines, okay? So this will help you in the long run get in the habit of turning things in on time, okay? You also need to read the comments I'll leave you for every assignment. I'm giving you feedback to help increase your critical thinking skills. You also need to revise your assignments. So every single person in my class should have an A. I expect you to read the feedback I give you and to revise your assignments, and you should be able to get an A on everything. The whole point of you being here is to be able to master standards, and that means keep doing it until you get it so that you can be an effective member of society. Okay, I want you to be successful in life and to know what you need to know. Okay, be sure you read these expectations and know them by heart. If you do not follow an expectation, that'll negatively affect your grade, and I may ask you to redo an assignment. And like I said, I don't take stuff with a bunch of spelling and grammar errors, okay? Because that's silly. Silly. Okay, let's move on. So, my name vignette. Oh, how we loved that assignment. So, I have graded your vignette assignment, and I left comments for you on the document. Please read them. I also left private comments in Google Classroom and in Infinite Campus. Please revise your assignment, and I will reevaluate your grade. And congratulations to the students who scored a 5. Woohoo! I was actually more flexible with answers on this assignment, but I will progressively expect more precise answers. So you need to hone in on your answers and be thorough, okay? And I have also included a rubric that shows you how I graded that assignment. 5's the best, 0 and M's the worst, obviously. If you turned in your document blank, stop it. Stop it right now. I'm going to clobber you. Not really, but seriously, this is really annoying when you turn in blank assignments. Just don't turn it in if it's blank, okay? It's just frustrating for me and takes up a lot of my time. It takes up your time turning it in when there's nothing there, and it's confusing, okay? So please stop doing that. Be mature, and if you don't do it, just don't do it. Well, no, let me rephrase that. If you don't do it, hop on it and do it, but don't turn it in without finishing it, okay? Please, please. And if you're doing that for attendance, I will go in and tell the attendance lady to go back and mark you absent if you turn in blank to get marked present. Okay, so it's going to backfire. So please don't do that. And again, please revise this assignment and I'll reevaluate your grade. And I am very, very proud of the students who have already revised this assignment. You rock. Okay? So let's look at the characterization. When grading this vignette, I noticed that there were only a few students who understood what emotional and physical traits meant or how to find them in this vignette. Now that you are in 8th grade, your reading material is going to be more difficult, and you're going to have to use your inferencing skills to read behind the lines to make an educated guess. So think back to the vignette. We are never directly told what the narrator is feeling or what she looks like, but question number 1 asks us what her emotional and physical traits are. So first of all, we need to make sure that we understand what those traits are in the first place, okay? So emotional traits. These focus on the character's feelings and thought processes. Some of you describe the narrator as sad or depressed, which are good examples. Other emotional traits of Esperanza could include motivated, empathetic, passionate, optimistic, hopeful, emotional, judgmental, biased, ashamed, discouraged, and possessing strong feelings. Please notice how some of these traits seem to contradict each other, which means they kind of are opposites of each other. And that is because Esperanza's characterization is subjective based on the perception of the reader. So what I may perceive her to be may be slightly different than what you perceive her to be, because we're different people and we have different backgrounds, okay? For example, I may perceive Esperanza's vignette as a cry for help from the narrator. Thus, I may describe her as ashamed and discouraged. However, you may view the vignette as a declaration of independence from a narrator who is determined to break away from the negative stigma of her name. Thus, you may describe her as motivated and hopeful. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. We both are seeing her in a different light. So, here is a list of other emotional traits. And you can refer back to this for your future assignments where you have to characterize a character. Okay, characterize a character. But when you have to find different traits of a character, emotional traits, you can refer back to this list. So take a look through here so you get a better idea of what the emotional traits actually means. Okay, this will help you out. Let's look at physical traits, which focus on what characters look like. Most of you skipped this part, probably because the vignette didn't directly tell you what the character looked like. But you have to evaluate what you know about the character and his or her background and then use your inferencing skills to make an educated guess. Remember, you're going to have to look between the lines now that you're in 8th grade, okay? A person's nationality and ethnicity, so like where they're from, what culture they're from, like who their ancestors are, things like that, can offer insight to a person's physical traits. During this class, we used context clues within the vignette to determine that Esperanza was a Mexican immigrant. We can then use our background knowledge to infer what the narrator looks like, or we can research the physical traits of Mexicans. According to the International Outreach Culture Guide on Mexico, the physical characteristics of the Mexican people today are inherited from their indigenous ancestry. Many Mexicans have tan skin, straight dark hair, and brown eyes. So using this information, I can infer what the physical traits of Esperanza are. Okay, so my answer could have been, I infer that Esperanza has tan skin, dark hair, and brown eyes. And that would have been a great inference, okay? Theme and summary. I noticed, and I need to say this, I noticed a direct correlation between class participation and correct or incorrect answers. The students who followed directions and highlighted the vignette, as well as inserting comments, were the students who most accurately identified the purpose of Esperanza's grandmother story and the theme. Please ensure you're paying attention during Google Meets, especially when we are analyzing a text together. Because if we're analyzing a text in class, rest assured that you're going to be answering questions about it, okay? So, what is Esperanza's purpose in writing about her grandmother, and what is the theme of the vignette? When asked about the purpose, what her purpose is for her grandmother's story, you all responded with, she got her name from her grandmother. To say where she got her name. Her grandmother was strong. She respected her grandmother. Women were treated poor. To show how women shouldn't be treated bad. And all this stuff can come from details that you pull from the vignette, but they do not reflect the main reason Esperanza includes a story about her grandmother. Okay, up here, y'all are just talking about bits and pieces from the grandmother story, not Esperanza's purpose in writing it, okay? Now, before we can figure out what her purpose is for including the story about her grandmother, we have to understand the overall message she is trying to convey to the reader. We have to step back and consider the vignette as a whole, and then determine how the grandmother story fits into the grand scheme. Writing objective summaries will help us identify the message and the theme of the story. So what I did is, in order to find her purpose for the grandmother story and the theme, I wrote summaries, an objective summary for each paragraph. So let's take a look. First, I focused on the title itself. The title alerts the reader that the vignette is going to focus on the narrator's name. Paragraph 1, the narrator's name is seen differently in various cultures, but has a negative connotation in Spanish. Paragraph 2, the narrator inherited her name, Esperanza, from her grandmother, who was a strong woman, and the narrator believes Chinese and Mexican men do not want strong women. Paragraph 3, her grandmother was an independent, strong-willed woman until she was dehumanized and forced to marry. Paragraph 4, her grandmother gave up her dreams, but Esperanza does not want to end up like her grandmother. Instead, she wants to follow her dreams regardless of the stigma attached to her name. Paragraph 5. The narrator's name is pronounced differently in various cultures, particularly outside of Spanish, and she is unable to break free of the negative stigma surrounding her name. In paragraph 6, the narrator wants a new name to reflect who she really is. She wants to change her feature. Okay, and if you look, all of these, except for paragraph 3, have something to do with the narrator's name. Okay, keep that in mind. So here's my objective summary of the vignette. And you had to write your own summary. Look how long mine is. Okay, and I looked at every little paragraph to make sure I was capturing something from each paragraph. Okay? Esperanza's name has different meaning in various cultures, and it is pronounced incorrectly. Her name carries a negative stigma, and she is treated poorly because of it. It is similar to how she is treated poorly because of her gender. Her grandmother used to be a strong-willed, independent woman until she was dehumanized and forced to marry. Esperanza uses the story of her grandmother to show that she is not going to give up her dreams like her grandmother, and even though she inherited her grandmother's name, she is going to follow her own dreams. Esperanza wants to change her name and break free of the negative stigma associated with her name. Okay? And thus change her future. So, and again, pulling directly from the objective summary, here's Esperanza's purpose for including the grandmother story. Esperanza uses the story of her grandmother to show that she is not going to give up her dreams like her grandmother, and even though she inherited her grandmother's name, she's going to follow her own dreams. Okay, so that's just reiterating I got that out of my objective summary. That's why objective summaries are really good for you. So check it out. Here's a hint. When I review and I look at the objective summaries I wrote for each paragraph, I notice that 5 out of 6 summaries focus on her name. This tells me that the theme is going to have something to do with her name. Okay? Now that we understand the message Esperanza is trying to convey to the reader, we then need to apply that to the theme. So what is the author trying to tell the reader? And what is the message the author wants to convey? So here's another hint. Think about the message Esperanza is trying to tell us to help us figure out the theme. In traditional stories, you can usually look at the lesson the character has learned and apply it to your own life to figure out the theme. Okay, it's a little bit different with the vignette. So let's think about it. What theme? What kind of lesson do you think the author wants the reader to take away from this vignette? We know it has something to do with names. We can also infer it has something to do with the way people are treated poorly by others, because that kept showing up over and over, right? Esperanza is treated poorly because of her name, so we can infer the author is trying to show the reader that this is not acceptable. So when we put it all together, the lesson, and therefore the theme, is that we should not make judgments about others or treat others poorly based on their name or other characteristics. Have you ever heard of the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, you can apply the same theme to this vignette. All right, so that's it about that. So let's look at your assignment. Okay, so this is the character legacy assignment. So you will notice on slides 4 to 13, I have given you an example of what you're supposed to do. And my teaching partner actually made these slides and they're super cool, so I hope you like them. On slide 14, it says it's your turn, meaning you take over the slides. So I give you an example and I model how to do it up to slide 13. On 14, it says, hey, it's your turn now. And from slide 15 to 24, you are going to take over and make your own slides. And it's actually going to be fun. It seems like more than it is, okay? So I really hope you like this assignment. I cannot wait to see what you all make. Okay, the first slide, pick your character. Oh, my bad. So, I just totally skipped these. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. Okay, so starting on slide 15, you're going to discuss the character that you have chosen by giving support. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm skipping ahead. Okay, here's your I can statement, and you guys have got to start putting your I can statement on your assignments, especially when I put it in chat and I say it over and over again during class and wait for you to type it in your assignment. You need to do it. And even if you miss class, I have it in the video lesson. So you need to always be sure you have an I can statement in here. You have it in here already for this assignment, but just be sure you start doing that, okay? So anyway, here it is. I can use character and setting to determine a theme or central idea. So you are totally going to choose a book or a movie, your favorite book or movie you've ever watched. You're going to use something you really like, okay? And choose a book or movie where a character and the setting leave a legacy, okay? So then slides 15 and 19, you're going to discuss the character that you have chosen by giving supporting details and information about the character. Slides 20 to 22, you're going to do the same thing for the setting. And then slide 23, you're going to discuss the legacy that both the character and setting have left behind in the book or movie. And this is your chance to explain why you have chosen the character or setting for this assignment. And then last of all, slide 24, you're going to determine a central idea for the legacy the character and setting have left behind. So you're going to figure out what the legacy is that they've left behind, and then what the central idea is of the legacy. Okay, it's a little bit different than we've been doing, but I hope you have fun with it. So for this example, we pulled Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. Okay, so we put a picture, who she is, where she came from, and that's our first slide. Easy peasy, okay? And we have little prompts for you, like pick your character and add pictures of them here. So to keep you on track, okay? Second slide, you're going to have a biography. And if you notice, it's multiple different sentences being very descriptive, okay? So have a picture in a biography and be creative. And you can use whatever you want out of here, like modeling wise, to help you with your slides, okay? Next slide, text messages. And you all should be pros at this. So pick 3 or 4 characters from the book or story other than your main character and have your main character text them. So she can be sending texts, or he or she can be sending texts to a character or receiving texts from a character. Just be sure you put like to or from, okay, and who it's to or from. And then the text messages should have cute little information about the character. So, for example, Katniss is asking Primrose, did you feed your cat today? And in the book or movie, like it tells us how much Primrose loves her cat. Okay. Gail is asking Katniss, do you want to meet me in our usual spot? You can bring your bows and arrows. So that's telling us, 1, that they meet in a spot together, and 2, that Katniss uses bows and arrows. Okay, so you get the idea. Instagram. Oh, yeah. So now you get to play with Instagram. Put a picture here, change the thumbnail, give your character a cute little username and put a caption down here. Okay, pretty cut and dry. Be as creative as you want. Have fun. Next slide, Twitter. So what kind of thoughts would your character have? Like, do they have a secret they'd want to share? Are they having problems with somebody? Like, what would be something that they would put there? Don't forget to put your hashtag, something cute, and then change the username. Okay? I can't wait to see what you all do. Okay, now you're going to focus on the setting. So put a picture, map, something like that of the setting of the book or movie, and put the title of the place, wherever it is, just put the name of it. Okay? Pretty easy. This one's a little bit harder. You're going to write an objective summary of the setting. And I just showed you a bunch of examples how to do objective summaries. You're just taking the facts out of you're just listing the facts of the setting. Okay, so make sure it's not opinion and just tell us anything you can think of that's important about the setting. And notice this is multiple different sentences, so you should fill up the slide pretty much with information, okay, about the setting. Here's another one about the setting. What is your setting known for? She chose coal mining. It's the smallest and poorest district. It's known for medicine. This could have been a cool spot too to say that this setting is known as a dystopian environment, and you could have listed the different features that usually appear in a dystopian environment. And remember, a dystopian novel is like a post-apocalyptic novel, okay? So you can totally be creative with this. Okay, last two slides. Oops, sorry. Okay, this slide here is going to be lengthy. You're going to talk about your character and settings legacy. Be detailed, fill up the slide, have multiple sentences. So, this one here mentions her character traits, what she stood for, that it's the legacy she's leaving behind, and, some other stuff in there. Talking about the legacy, okay, what's important to her, and what impression she left behind for everyone else, including her and the district, what type of legacy combined they left behind. And then here for the central idea, it is a central idea about the legacy. And so she put down that she's a girl from District 12 who volunteers to go in the Hunger Games and proves many people wrong for doubting her based on where she came from. Okay, so the legacy, she stood her ground for what she believes in right, even if that's going against what the Capitol tells her to do. And then she kind of took the next step here. Okay, the central idea is that she proves many people wrong for doubting her. So you have a lot of creative license with this, okay? So think about what makes sense to you, and you can tell these aren't like you're making connections, but it's not like regurgitating the information. Okay, so anyway, just make sure you include information here about the character and setting and make sure it makes sense. And what is the main focus of the legacy she's leaving behind or he is leaving behind? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to stop recording. Good luck. Have fun.